Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddham, buddham, buddham vande. Dhammang, dhammang, dhammang vande. Sanghang, sanghang, sanghang vande. Buddham, dhammang, sanghang vande. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Samanta cakkavalesu atra gaccantu devatam. Saddhammang munirajassa sunanto sagga mokkadam. Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta. Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta. Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta. Ayung arogyan vannang sanghang uccakulinatam. Ratiyo pattayantena ulara aparapara. Appamadam pasansanti punya kiriyasu pandita. Appamatto ubo ante adiganhati panditoti. Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the perfectly enlightened one. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today we are going to explain Appamada Sutta, which comes in Samyutta Nikaya in Kosala Samyutta. The discourse of diligence. Do you know the meaning of diligence? Diligence is a very important word in Buddhism. It says in Pali language, Appamada. Appamada Sutta. Buddha always emphasized the importance of having Appamada. Every day, 3 times among the months, Buddha explained this word. Don't be delayed. Buddha encouraged his disciples every day 3 times with this word, Appamada. And the end of his life, finally, his final word also like that. Appamadena bhikkhave sampadeta. Without delay, please practice this Dhamma. Don't waste your life. And always Buddha encourage explaining this word, Appamada, diligence. And this sutta comes in Samyutta Nikaya in Kosala Samyutta. One day, one of Buddha's lay disciples, Kin Pasenadi Kosala, came to Buddha, visited Buddha, seated to the side and said to the Buddha, he says, Atte nukho bhante eko dhammo yo ubo atte samadhigahya tittati ditta dhammikan cheva attam samparayikan cheti. Dear Venerable Sir, is there one thing that secures benefits for both the present life and future lives? Buddha says, there is, great king. Then King Kosala asked again, so what is that Bhante? Buddha says, great king, diligence. is the thing that, when developed and cultivated, secures benefits for both the present life and lives to come. Buddha has given an example here that the footprints of all creatures that walk can fit inside an elephant's footprint. So, an elephant's footprint is said to be the biggest of them all. In the same way, diligence is the thing that secures benefits for both the present life and lives to come. That is what the Buddha said. All creatures' footprints can be included into elephant's footprint. Like that, all doctrines that Buddha has explained for his 45 years can be summarized in this only one word, Appamada. That is very important. Appamada is not just like work hard, work fast, or effort. When we say sometimes diligence, people may think that if someone works hard continuously, that is diligence. Actually, that is not diligence in Buddhism. Not only effort that we should have vision. Especially, Buddha has given this word as a synonym for mindfulness. This is not away from mindfulness. Vision and mission. Vision and mission. Both are important. Vision without mission is useless. Mission without vision is blind. Both things are very important. Although we have courage, if we have no vision, our effort is useless. Even though we have vision for understanding, if we don't practice, that knowledge is useless. Therefore, both of them are very important. You know, every place, every institute has a vision and mission. Both of them are very important. Buddhism also has a vision. What is the vision that Buddha has explained? Right vision, right understanding, Sammaditthi. Sammaditthi is the vision. And what is the mission? Mission is practice. How we practice this mission? As Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Virtue, concentration, and wisdom. Especially, all of them can be included into one word, that is mindfulness. Although Buddha has given this word Appamada, actually Appamada is a synonym for mindfulness. Here, King Pasenadi Kosala. King Kosala was a very great king in that time, Buddha's time. He frequently came to see the Buddha and ask some questions. And here, especially he asked, Reverend Sir, is there any special quality that is beneficial to this life and hereafter? Buddha says, there is. That is Appamada or diligence. Diligence helps us to bring our old age or our longevity, ayum, arogyam, health, vannam, beauty. These are the benefits that we receive throughout practicing Appamada or diligence in this life itself. And also not only benefits that we receive in this life, but we receive some benefits hereafter, next life. What they are? Saggang Ucca Kulinata. Saggang means going to heaven, having a blissful life hereafter. And also, again, Buddha says, birth in an eminent family hereafter. There are three stanzas here in the discourse of Appamada. Ayung arogyang vannam saggang ucca kulinatam ratio pattayantena ulara aparapara. For one who desires a continuous flow of exceptional delights, long life or longevity, beauty, health, heaven, and birth in an eminent family. Appamadam pasansante punya kiriyasu pandita appamatto ubhuvatte adiganhati pandito. The astute praise diligence in making merit. Being diligent, an astute person secures both benefits. Again Buddha says, Ditte dhammecha yo atto yo chatto samparayiko atthavi samaya dhiro panditoti pauchati. The benefit in this life and in lives to come, a sage comprehending the meaning is called astute. This is the place that we can show our proficiency. If we can be diligent, then we can acquire all good qualities in our life. Here it is very important. Our dedication should focus on decreasing unwholesome mental states and increasing wholesome mental states. Both are very important. What they are? In one side, we should decrease our unwholesome mental states. What are the unwholesome mental states that disturbs our peace of mind? Yes, very good. Craving, anger, and delusion or ignorance. These are the unwholesome mental states that disturb our peace of mind, that is still our inner peace. And also, we should understand the wholesome mental states. What are the wholesome mental states that help us to be happy? What are the opposite of these three things? Yes, generosity or charity or giving something to others, or loving kindness. In another way we can say virtue or morality and wisdom. Wisdom. These are the three wholesome mental states that help us to live happily. Especially, our real success depends on our happiness. Our happiness depends on, our spiritual happiness depends on how far we are clever to live in mindfulness. Whenever we are unhappy, it means our mind is in the past experience. Not only our mind is in the past experience, but we are ignorant that our mind is in the past. That is why Buddha never said that we should forget. We have nothing to forget. If we forget something, it's a big mistake in our life. Buddhism never advises us to forget something. But we should have mindfulness. We can remember anything which happened in the past mindfully. It doesn't matter. It is not a fault. What is the fault? If we remember something without mindfulness which happened in the past, that is the cause of suffering. Then we can cry a lot about our past experience. And if we can remember something mindfully, actually we can remember anything which happened in the past without suffering. That is why Buddha says, Ekayano ayam bhikkhave sattana visuddhya. For the purification of beings, soka paridhavana samatikkamaya, for getting rid of suffering. Dukkha domanasana attangamaya, getting rid of pain and lamentation. Jnana sadhigamaya, for gaining liberation, knowledge. Nibbana satikiriyaya, for realization of Nibbana, I proclaim only one thing, which is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the only way to overcome suffering. Mindfulness is the only way to purify our mind. Practicing mindfulness is the only way to overcome suffering. Practicing mindfulness is the only way to liberate from suffering. And here, even though Buddha has given this word Appamada, actually Appamada is a synonym of mindfulness. That is very important. And here, I would like to explain something about mindfulness that is very important. However, Appamada means whenever we are mindful, it means we are in Appamada or diligence. It doesn't mean that we work hard. Sometimes we may sleep. It doesn't matter, but we sleep mindfully. Sleeping mindfully is better than working hard without mindfulness. And that is why Buddha always emphasized the importance of mindfulness. Here, special thing that we know, not only mindfulness Buddha has explained, but mindful meditation and the path that leads to mindful meditation. There are three things. There are three things Buddha has explained here. What they are? What they are? Yes, first one is mindfulness. Mindfulness. The second one is, yes, mindful meditation. Mindful meditation. And the third one, the path. The path that leads to mindful meditation. Mindful meditation. These three things are very important. When we learn Buddhist mindfulness, we should understand these three steps. You know, everywhere we can see a lot of people discuss about mindfulness, but they know only mindfulness. That is why they always advise us, please forget your past, forget your future, live in the present moment. That is only advice they give us always. But Buddhism doesn't stop living in the present moment. Living in the present if living in the present moment is the successful way, you know, children and animals should be very successful beings in the world, because they don't think their past or future. They completely live in the present moment. But it is not enough. According to Buddhism, first of all, we should train our mind to live in the present moment. It is very important, because our mind is always goes here and there. Buddha has explained a gradual path, practicing some meditation techniques. And also not only mindfulness or living in the present moment, but with living in the present moment, Buddha has explained us reflecting on impermanence, arising and ceasing of our body and mind. Or in 4 ways Buddha has explained: body, feelings, perception, and mental formations or consciousness. And what is the third one? The path that leads to mindful meditation. What's that? The understanding of the process of the dependent origination, arising and ceasing, cause and effect, causality, the nature of impermanence, paticcasamuppada. This is the nervous system of Buddhism. Nervous system. Mindfulness is the heart. Understanding of the dependent origination of Buddhism is that nervous system. That is very important. Buddha says that before we start this spiritual practice, first of all, we should have some kind of understanding what happens to our life. What is the nature of our life? Our entire life is our body and mind. On the other side, our entire life is the experience that we receive our 6 spheres, 6 senses. What are the 6 senses? Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. What are the external objects? Form, sound, smell, taste, touch and mental objects. And the nature of these 12 things is impermanent. What is the impermanent? These 12 things are not permanent. It means these 12 things arise at the moment. There are no any ready-made things among these 12 things. In the conventional truth, the ordinary people explain, we can see something which are ready-made. But in this spiritual world, according to ultimate truth, in the supramundane level, we can't see any ready-made thing. When we see something, we may think that this was here before I see. But it is not true according to ultimate truth. It is true according to conventional truth. But when we go to the ultimate truth in supramundane level, the form that we experience through our eyes arise at the moment, according to our present mental conditions, such as karmic energy, ignorance, mental situations. We create something at the moment according to our internal senses. In this moment, I look at a wall. When my internal senses change, suddenly this form changes. Now, in this level, in this moment, through our eyes, we can see only 5 human beings in this hall. 5 beings in this hall. But when our eyes change, we can see a lot of beings in this hall. And this is the nature of our senses. If we can understand this reality, we keep our attention, we reflect on this situation always. We always create experience according to our present mental condition. When our mind changes, when our ignorance changes, suddenly our spheres our internal senses change. For example, when someone is coming here who has blamed you, and that same person has helped me a lot, as soon as you see that person, your senses change suddenly. And my senses are also changed. And actually, that external object doesn't influence you. What influences you? Your present mental condition. When you think that person's bad behavior, you may get angry, but suddenly you think that that person has helped you too. Then suddenly your spheres change. And also, sometimes you may think that the person there is coming, that person has blamed you. Suddenly you think that it is not that person, he is another person. Then we should have this understanding. Buddha says, when we go on this path of liberation, first of all, we should have this understanding. That is why Buddha says, Janato aham bhikkhave passato asvanam khayam vadami no ajanato no apassato. I proclaim that liberation or getting rid of suffering for those who know the path, who see the path. This is the path. This is the address. Before we start our spiritual journey, first of all, we should know this map or address. This is very important. And also, this is the vehicle. This is the process of driving. This is the map. This is the vehicle. This is the process of our driving. These three things are interrelated. And always, the destination should be in our memory. What is our destination? To where we are going to. Always imagine, dreaming our destination. We practice mindfulness and mindful meditation. If we don't know the destination or map, we may stop among the road, among the journey, middle of the journey. And if we want to reach the destination, we should have good understanding the address or map. Buddha says, he explained us to practice only thin, arising and ceasing of five aggregates. Reflecting on arising and ceasing of our five aggregates. Buddha has explained for all people in all spiritual stages in this same advice. And here, how we practice mindfulness. Mindfulness can be practiced into four ways, four areas. Contemplating on body, contemplation of our feelings, or contemplation of our mind, contemplation of mental formation, mental objects. First of all, we contemplate on our body. How we contemplate on our body? Our breathing, inhalation and exhalation. We think our breathing in and out. Not only we keep our attention in the present moment, we think it arising and ceasing. And also we think our four postures: standing, walking, sitting, lying down. These four postures can be contemplated, should be contemplated. We do everything in our four postures mindfully. keeping our attention in the present moment. And also we contemplate on 4 fundamental elements. What elements? Fire elements, earth element, and wind elements. Our body is made with these 4 things. And also we contemplate on 32 body parts, such as our hair, our skin, our blood. These are the things we think. And also we contemplate on 9 charnel ground body parts. After we die, what happens to our body? Little by little, until the skeleton, what happens to our body? We contemplate on those steps. Why do we need to contemplate on these body parts? The reason is that we think there is a permanent person here. By practicing this Kaya-nupassana or contemplating on body, we understand there is no particular person. There is no soul here. And also we understand this body also is not permanent. It also arises at the moment. According to our mental condition, always we create our body. Until we die, always we create this body. Always it changes. And not only we keep our attention in our physical body, but we think the impermanence of our body parts. Not only we think our own body, but we compare it to other bodies too. Then in one side, we can overcome lustful desire. Lust is one of the defilements that disturbs our peace of mind. When we contemplate on impurity of our physical body, we can overcome our lust. And also, we understand our physical body and others' physical body are same, because all of them are made in 4 fundamental elements. Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo. Earth element, water elements, fire elements, and wind elements. These are the primary elements that everybody, everything are made in. And this is the one of the areas that we practice mindfulness according to 4-fold mindfulness. Satara Satipatthana, Chattari Satipatthana. And the second one, Vedana-nupassana, feelings. When we have good feelings, we think, now I have good feeling. When I have unpleasant feeling, we think that now I have unpleasant feeling. And in the present moment, we contemplate on what kind of feelings that I have in my body and mind. Our body feelings only one of 6 senses, 6 feelings. We create 6 feelings through our 6 senses. But usually we think only our body feelings. It is only one thing out of 6. And body feelings can be bare or bold. But when somebody blames you, when someone blames you, sometimes you can't bear it. And when you see something that someone hit your beloved one, the feelings comes through your eyes, but you can't bear it. When someone dies in front of you, who is your beloved one, that experience comes you through your eyes, but it is more difficult to bear than you have physical feelings, physical pains. And that is why Buddha explained how we overcome this suffering. If we can understand this reality about our experience that we receive through our six senses, actually we can overcome suffering in this moment, not hereafter, not next life. The interesting thing in Buddhism is the result of practicing Dhamma can be resolved in this life. But other religious experience, their result we will have next life or hereafter. But the special thing in Buddhism, if we can practice this message in this short life, before we die, we can overcome suffering. After we have overcome suffering, furthermore, I can live until we die. Without decay, without death, we can live. Even though we are subject to die physically, but mentally we are not subject to die, because we have overcome material things. Now we depend on material things. That is why when our physical body is subject to sick, die, death, we are unhappy. Because we think, I am sick, I will die. I am afraid of that. Because my mind is completely depends on my physical body. That is why we are afraid of these challenges. Death, sickness, decay, these are our challenges. Why is that? Because we depend on material things. Buddhist doctrines focus on how we overcome material things. Not only we overcome material things, but we overcome our mental things too. Finally, we completely depend on our wisdom. What is the nature of depending on wisdom? We reflect on impermanence, the nature of our present thought. Whenever we can think the impermanence of our present thought, at the moment we don't depend on any external things or persons. Yes?
But does that mean that you have no feelings? Like
we have feelings.
Right.
We have feelings. When somebody hits you, you feel.
Right.
But you don't take it as yours.
So for example, let's say like someone comes here and tries to rob, and then you see the robber hitting like the chief monk, the old one, and they're hitting him. So you're not going to feel anything? Or you just see, okay, someone is hitting him?
No, actually even we became Arahantas, Buddha says, we should escape some problems, some dangerous things. There is a very special discourse as Sabbhasa Sutta, the discourse of the way to overcome fetters or defilements. Buddha says one of techniques is, even though we have attained enlightenment, we should escape dangerous situations. Why is that? We are compassionate to others, not for us. Even though we can bear it, when they hit some persons, they create some negative karma. We can bear it. If we have enlightened, we can bear it. But they create some negative karmas, and they are subject to reborn in hell. That is why we should escape it. Okay? On the other side, after we attain enlightenment, we have to do a service to the world. We attain enlightenment not only for us, but we have to do a service to the world. We should give this message to next generation. That is also one of our goals or purposes. And physically, even though some persons have attained enlightenment, they also have the pain, physical pain, but they don't take as theirs. Mentally they are healthy. Physically they may be unhealthy, but mentally they are healthy. They feel mental feelings, physical pains, but they don't feel other negative feelings through other five senses. Only through physical body. Now when we look at something, when your children, when your close relatives are struggling or fighting, you may get angry, you are unhappy when you see something. But if an arahant here, he is not unhappy, because through his eyes suffering doesn't come. Even someone blames you, you may get angry, but arahant never gets angry.
It doesn't mean that he won't do anything. He might try to help, but he won't take it as his or her. Right?
Sorry?
So even like if he sees something unpleasant, it doesn't mean that he's just not going to care, because that, if we think that way, it's like we don't feel anything for others. We're just like.
Yes, the thing is the very important. We have six senses. These we get experience these three spheres, three senses, like ear, eye, nose. Five senses are neutral. Five senses are neutral. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, and mind are neutral. But physical body feels some negative emotions. Even though these five things are neutral, but in the ordinary level person, common person's spheres are not neutral. Because of ignorance, he may get angry, he may get unpleasant when he experiences negative emotions. But arahants can imagine, can reflect on impermanence suddenly, because he lives complete in mindfulness. For example, when someone is bringing a news that a person has died, then there is two persons here. Both of them are children of that person who died. And one of them is arahantas, the other one is a normal person. The news is same. Someone who is arahant, he is in mindfulness. He suddenly understands the impermanence of that sound, and his mind doesn't go to fast, and he doesn't cry. But the other person, who is ordinary person, suddenly her mind goes to fast, and suddenly she may fall down. The news is same. News is same. Sound is same. That is why I say that five senses are neutral, and one of them is not neutral. We have pain, feelings, physical pains. When we hit someone in same power, same force, both of them have the same feelings. Someone can get angry, the other one is not get angry, because he is arahant. Suddenly he realizes impermanence. Yes, actually, when we go forward, these are the doctrines that we should realize. In the deeper level, we should understand this reality, and then we know the way how we overcome suffering. Then we are so fortunate. Then we don't depend on outside persons and things can decide our happiness or suffering. Now, outside, external people and things have decided our happiness and suffering. But here, Buddha explained the way of liberation, freedom. What kind of freedom that we receive? Freedom is that not depend on outside. Now we have no real liberation because we depend on outside things and people. And we have mindfulness and mindful meditation. It means we have real security, safety, protection, refuge. That is why Buddha says, take a refuge in your life. Practice in mindfulness and mindful meditation. But the path that leads to mindfulness meditation is very important. Before we start mindfulness and mindful meditation, we were talking about contemplating on body, and also we contemplate on feelings or sensations. When we have feelings, suddenly we understand the nature of feelings and impermanence. If we can understand the impermanence of sensations, of feelings, we don't get them as our own feelings. We see only the cause and effect. When we listen to something, when someone blames us, we suddenly think that person blames me. We bind that sound to that person, but that sound doesn't belong to that person. Like this sound. Even though these fingers create this sound doesn't belong to fingers. This sound doesn't belong to even my ears, my consciousness, my mind. But without these conditions, we have no sound. But this sound doesn't belong to any condition. Our whole experience that we receive through our ears also like that. When someone blames us, suddenly we understand this sound doesn't belong to the particular person. We understand, we realize the cause and effect and impermanence. Then we don't meet a person to blame again. It doesn't mean that we give the chances to others to blame us. We should escape them when someone blames us, because we are so compassionate. We don't give chances to them to create new karmas, new negative karmas, because we are so kind. In the conventional truth, in the conventional level, mundane level, when they create some karmas, those negative result of those karmas follow them from birth to birth. But when we attain this highest level, our karmas don't follow us. Even though we have enlightenment, we care other people because we know their level. We should understand their position, their karmas, and also they are subject to go to jails when they do some bad things. Not only they are going to hell, but in this immediate life, they have to go to jails and they should be punished. That is why we don't give chances to them to do bad deeds. And the next one, the contemplation of mind. When our mind is lustful, we understand my mind is lustful now. When my mind is concentrated, we know that my mind is concentrated. When my mind is unconcentrated, I understand that my mind is not concentrated just now. Here, we don't go to control our mind in the Chittanupassana. For the contemplation of mind, we don't control our feelings. We are like viewers, or we are like, or we do only watching. And the next level, the contemplation of mental objects, mind objects. Here we decide that these negative thoughts should be destroyed. When 5 hindrances like sensual desire, anger, we really understand I should defeat these negative thoughts using some techniques. We have learned, we have studied some techniques how we overcome anger by practicing loving kindness and thinking our karmic law, thinking our previous lives. Using various techniques, we reduce anger. When our mind is lustful, using some techniques such as contemplating on impurity of our body parts, we can overcome lust.
So in the third level, when we are watching our mind, we are just training ourselves to go to the next level.
Yes, in the third level, contemplating of mind, we just observe our present mental situation.
That's preparing for the next.
Yes, next level, we control our negative thoughts and we develop positive thoughts. And in the third level, we see negative and positive mental condition. And fourth level, we reduce negative thoughts and we develop positive thoughts.
So on the fourth level, you decide, okay, this is something that you need to stop, right?
Yes. Yes. In the third level, we do nothing. We are only watching them. And when we watch them, when we see those negative or positive thoughts, especially when we see some negative thoughts which are in our mind, suddenly, actually, we can overcome those things. For example, when someone says to you, now you are angry, then we are shy. Suddenly, we try to overcome anger.
So like someone when we drive, sometimes people cut in front and you get mad, so you see like, oh, okay, now I am mad. That's how you do in the dream.
Yes. Yes. When we see our mind, if our mind is polluted, we understand that polluted mind brings us suffering. Then we can't live with those negative thoughts. Because we know very well, those negative thoughts disturb our peace of mind.
That example, like, well, what do you do when someone tries to keep on doing it? This example, someone cut me off a few weeks ago, and the guy wanted to fight me. He kept calling, trying to bring a fight to me, and I'm I was mad. I'm not gonna lie, I was mad, but I'm trying to avoid him and go away, and no, he keeps calling me, trying to cut me off and get my car. So what do you do if they are trying to come to you?
Yes, actually, first of all, we should protect ourselves. That's the first thing. And actually, when we go away, sometimes they go away. When we go to fight, sometimes we do return, they are coming back. Yes, they fight again and again. Sometimes actually, for example, sometimes this is your fortunate. That is your fortunate. For example, last week we went across the country, and when we were driving fast, then someone actually first I passed someone, then he got angry and he passed me and he got my lane, and suddenly he stopped. He braked, and yes, then I thought that there is some reason. Then my friend told me that, no, this is the wrong way. Please turn out. Actually, our map is wrong. We had come more than 10 miles in wrong way. Actually, that person is like a messenger. If he were not there, actually we had go too far away. Actually, some things happened because of opportunity. Yes. Actually, we gave him merit. That is the way. Actually, we got a wrong freeway. In the junction, we were confused. And when we were going more than 10 miles, we had that incident. And yes, yes, that also like that. If you are in Dharma, good actions, actually something happened because of opportunity. If you went fast, sometime you had to face some accident. And that person is a benefit for you. Sometimes when we think those things, we should not get angry. Yes, we shouldn't get angry. We should not get angry. There are a lot of incidents that we can see in our life like that. Yes. And we can think those things in positive way. When we are in Dharma, actually, when we practice Dhamma, always we think some of our negative incidents, negative experience in our life as positive. Yes. And the contemplating of our mental formations is very important here. We think not only our negative emotions, negative mental formations, but we think and develop our positive mental thoughts such as 7 enlightenment factors. Sati, Dhamma, Vijaya, Virya. Sati means mindfulness, keen investigation, energy. Those are some positive energies, positive mental and spiritual conditions we develop. And both of them are very important. In both sides should be contemplated, and we decrease positive emotions and we cultivate positive mental formations. And both things are very important. As the result of practicing 4 areas of fourfold mindfulness, finally we get only one thing. In the primary level, we practice Kayanupassana, Vedanupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana. In the primary level, finally we have contemplated on one thing. What is that? The impermanence of 5 aggregates. By practicing Kayanupassana or contemplation of body, we realize form, one of 5 aggregate form. By practicing contemplation of feelings, we realize the nature of consciousness. By practicing feelings or contemplating on feelings, we realize feelings, one of the 5 aggregates. And by contemplating on mind, we realize the nature of consciousness. And also by contemplating on mental formations, we realize mental objects and perception. Perception and mental formations are realized by contemplating on mental objects. Finally, we get everything together. these five aggregates arise together. Those five things cannot be divided. When we look at something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we taste something, these five aggregates arise together. Not only they arise, but immediately they cease. Then Buddha says, finally, we have to contemplate on five aggregates as they arise and cease. Whenever we contemplate on, reflecting on impermanence of five aggregates, we don't need to reflect on loving kindness or any other things, because we don't find a person outside. In this level, we want to practice loving kindness because we find persons outside. But in the bottom level, we don't find any persons or things outside. We get everything inside. When our present thought arises and ceases, we understand five aggregates arise and cease. Then we completely liberate from outside. Then, even though we live in the human world, there in a material life, but mentally we are completely healthy. And our real success, our real liberation, happiness depends on the duration of practicing impermanence. It doesn't mean that we go away from the society. Actually, we do our duties and responsibilities to the society, to our relatives and friends, because we want to live further. We have to earn something, but we do those things for the society, not for our own self. And also, we always spend our life not only for us, but for others. If we have a chance to give this message to others, we give this understanding to others too, because we understand these people were our close friends and relatives in our previous lives. This is the highest gift that we can give to others, because Buddha says, gift of Dhamma excels all other gifts. Sabbadanan Dhammadanan Ginati. If someone at least thinks this understanding, actually at that moment that person has overcome suffering. Whenever you reflect on impermanence, at that moment you don't feel any suffering in your life.
So when you die, if you reflect on this impermanence of the five aggregates, there's a chance that you don't come back, right? Because you're not clinging to anything when you die.
Actually, at the moment when we die, if we can completely keep this understanding in this wisdom, our death, our life, everything happened, our enlightenment, everything happens in the same time.
There's no clinging, right?
No clinging. We have overcome the circle of samsara.
No more birth. That's why we practice it.
Yes, again and again we have to practice. Sometimes we can achieve this goal before we die. If we have practiced our spiritual faculties in our previous lives, actually we have this chance to achieve. And sometimes actually we can see that in our previous lives we have practiced our wisdom a lot. That is why we are here. That is why we have this chance to listen to this message. We are so fortunate. And especially when you listening to this message, at that moment actually you are like in the heaven. Not only heaven, but you are like in the wisdom.
I believe that now because I had no idea what Buddhism was until I talked to you in college. And
Yes.
there was no reason for me to know Buddhism until I talked to you. So I think that was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, so now I keep thinking about it. I said, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Actually, that is the result of your actual wishes and merits that you have acquired in your previous lives. Even though you didn't meet me, you had to meet another person who explains this message. That is not the result of mine, that's the result of yours. And sometimes you may think that you have this chance to listen to this message because you met me, but sometimes you may have to meet another person who explains. Sometimes you may meet a book that explains this message because of your merits. Okay, here today we discuss one of the discourses which comes in Samyutta Nikaya, Appamada Sutta, which comes in Samyutta Nikaya in Kosala Samyutta. King Pasenadi Kosala asked the Buddha, Bhante, Reverend Sir, is there any special quality that is beneficial to achieve some goals in this life and hereafter, such as health, longevity, beauty, and also heaven and having a good life? Buddha says, yes, there is a quality that we can practice to achieve this goal, that is diligence or appamada. Appamada or diligence brings us results in this life and hereafter. Especially in this life, if we do some good deeds, increase in our wholesome mental state, decrease in our unwholesome mental state, then we can achieve some good results in this life itself, such as longevity, health, good friends, and also, education, employment, everything we can achieve as the result of good activities. And also not only that, but hereafter, if we can't achieve enlightenment this life, after we die, we can have a blissful life. And the special thing, if we have enough courage, dedication and effort, we can achieve some spiritual goals before we die as the result of our diligence. And especially, we should try to live in mindfulness with mindful meditation, seeing the path of liberation. Those three things are very important. Day by day, we should go forward on this path, getting knowledge throughout listening to Dhamma, living in the present moment, reflecting on impermanence. Day by day, we should go forward on this path. For that, I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for your good attention. Now, we are going to transfer these merits to our departed relatives to recite in the Gatha. May our departed relatives, if they are needing merits, may they achieve this spiritual energy, may they enhance their spiritual energy, finally they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our departed relatives. Idamme ñātenang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātenang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātenang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. By the power of all this spiritual energy, may guardian deities and angels also receive these meritorious activities, energies, and may they enhance their divine energy. May they keep their eye on you too. May they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels to recite in the Gatha. Ākāsattha ca bummattha devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumodittvā cirang rakkantu sāsanam. Ākāsattha ca bummattha devānāgā mahiddhikā පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු දේශනං ආකාසට්ටා ච බුම්මට්ටා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ත්වං සදා. By the power of all these meritorious energy, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantāca niddukkhaṃ bhayam pantāca nibbhayā sokam pantāca nissokam hontu sabbe pipānino. Dukin pelena sat dukin medettvā bien pelena sat bien නැති වෙත්වා සොවින්ත වෙන සත් සොම්නස් වෙත්වා නිතින් මේ හැම සත් සුවපත් වෙත්වා. May the Triple Gem bless you.